Hello, everybody. My name is Cesar. Um, I decided that, since there are some things in my mind that I would like to share, and it's hard to get together these days. Plus, I've been very busy. Uh, well, actually, the real reason is that there was a post in a Facebook group, and somebody just asked, I don't understand why people just don't get the vaccine. And these conversations these days usually get hot really quickly. And so I try to explain, what I thought the thinking was, why some people don't want to get vaccinated. And it was so beautiful. I don't want to brag, but man, if I was able to write stuff like that when I was in college, I would have gotten like a 3.9 or 4.0 GPA. But and right away, somebody like gave me a little heart and say, great, that's exactly what the reason. And I'm like, all right, good. So hopefully some other people start seeing the other side. By the way, I'm already vaccinated. I had COVID February of 2021, and it kicked my ass. I mean, it's really a bad disease, and for some people, I have to admit I am overweight. That could have been the reason, or maybe my immune system was weak. I don't know. I'm not saying fat people are more in danger, which maybe we are, because I know some people that got COVID and they were not affected so much. So after I got out of that, and by the way, it took me more than the 2 weeks to get over it. Like it took me 6 weeks to get back to normal. Like my breathing wasn't what it was, but now I'm fine. So, but after that, when my doctor sent me a message saying, hey, you could get the vaccine, because I think that every doctor was given an allowance, and then they had to vaccinate old people first, or people with high risk, and then whatever was left they could give it to whoever. And then I was one of those whoever, or I don't know. The point is I got vaccinated because I'm like, man, I am very afraid personally, and I already had immunity from the vaccine, but if I can get more immunity, I'm sorry, I already had immunity from the disease, but if I can get more immunity, then I'm for it. So I'm vaccinated, but I think I understand the people who don't want to. So I wrote this mini essay, and somebody liked it and say that was good, and I'm like, all right, great. I feel good about myself. And then like less than 30 minutes later, it was gone. So I don't know if Facebook deleted the whole post. I don't know if the group administrator deleted the post, or whoever wrote the post deleted, because once you delete a post, then you cannot see anything. Some people do that because they try to like give information, like use FYI, and then people just go off. It starts okay, but at the end, everybody ends up calling themselves each other stupid. So maybe that person say, you know what, it's better to use take the mono contagion away, because you don't want to be responsible for people insulting each other in online. But it bothered me, because I did want other people to see what I wrote. So I don't even remember, like I could not put it together, but I'm gonna try to remember in this video, and whatever. So what I said was, so the guy asked why people just don't get the vaccine. Okay. And then I said, well, because maybe, and this is, we don't know for sure, but some people are more afraid of the vaccine than they are afraid of from COVID. Other people might believe that it's so new, we don't know what the side effects are, and they are willing to take the risk of the COVID because maybe they are young, strong, or they feel well, than to take risk from the vaccine. Also, there is this trust from the government that, I made this argument, like, how come now we're saying that the health ministries, the government are trying to do the right thing for society. So I said, well, is it the same government that is institutionally racist and has been responsible for inflation and budget deficits? So this government cannot deliver equality for the citizens and make good financial decisions, but they can make good health decisions for people based on incomplete information. And the argument, the other side argument is, well, they are going by the science, and they follow the science. I'm like, okay, but it did the same science that said 2 weeks to flatten the curve, but now it's been like 2 years. So they didn't know what they were doing back then. They didn't know what they were doing 6 months later. They didn't know what they were. And it is reasonable to think that they don't know what they're doing right now, even these scientists. And then I said, science itself, one of the I don't know what to call it, foundations or methods is when a scientist makes a discovery, he presents a hypothesis, and this hypothesis can be challenged by other scientists because maybe he didn't get it right. Maybe he made mistakes. Maybe he has bias. I don't know how to say that word. So there have been scientific discoveries that were believed to be true for a long time, but then they were later disproven. For example, the fact that the air was flat. Some people thought the air was flat for maybe centuries. And then some guy, I don't know who it was, Copernicus or somebody, said, no, the air is round. And in fact, I believe that at some point saying that the air was round was heresy or something. Now, that's an extreme example. I mean, the air being flat and the vaccine are two different things. But scientific discoveries sometimes are found to be untrue. So, and calling something science doesn't make it science, okay? My profession is not of a scientist, but I did took biology and physics, and there was I don't remember the exact, but it's observation, hypothesis, analysis, and so on. So it's not like, oh, this is science and that's it. I mean, like science, part of the reason why science has authority is because it's challenged. 1 second, please. So, just because somebody said this is science doesn't make it so. And just because somebody is a doctor doesn't mean he has all the answers. I mean, many of the catastrophes that we have seen sometimes are because we believe on somebody of authority, but unfortunately that person is wrong. Now, I'm not saying people shouldn't get vaccinated, okay? If people feel confident, if they have no reason not to get vaccinated, they don't have any condition that could be affected, they have access to it, then they should get vaccinated. I don't think that people should make a political statement with not getting vaccinated. But I do believe that if people truly feel or think, okay, that they are putting themselves at risk, then it's their choice. So there was more in there, but really, like, honestly, like sometimes you have this inspiration and you write things, very eloquently, and then it's gone. But another thing I say is that I resent this term of anti-vaxxer. Who the fuck came up with that term? Nobody is anti-vaxxer. I think everybody is like, if you want to get vaccinated, go ahead, get vaccinated. I'm not stopping you from getting vaccinated. Okay. I believe people now they're saying like we're anti-mandate. And see, this is so toxic because if you want to convince somebody else of your position, like in this case, the people who are pro-vaccine want to convince the anti-vaxxers that they should get the vaccine. How the fuck are you going to start with anti-vaxxer? That assumes a falsehood that not only alienates the other person and it stops any productive dialogue, Because if you want to convince somebody, you first need to understand them, present your evidence, and if your evidence is 51% better than their evidence, then they might be convinced. Maybe not, but that's the game. If you alienate them, the dialogue doesn't even start. So how in your mind, who came up with this? And then people cling to it, like, you're an anti-vaxxer. Like, I've been called an anti-vaxxer a few times. I'm already vaccinated. What are you talking about? I understand the other side. Personally, I have people close to me that have a legitimate reason not to get vaccinated. Okay, some medical conditions where they are not sure, and they have asked their doctors, like, can you guarantee me that I will not be adversely affected by this? And the doctor can't, because, you know, the doctors don't know. I mean, like, this is like in medicines and vaccines, I believe, they work in probabilities. There could be one adverse reaction out of 1,000 where, you know, people can be adversely affected, and the doctor cannot guarantee that. Oh, no, don't worry, you are not going to be affected, and if you are affected, I will cover your treatment. They cannot do that. So there are legitimate concerns, you know, and I also don't like that, you know, when even there is not even a chance to explain, because I listen, you know, like I had a conversation with somebody who told me something that really moved me. Like, you know, people should, by the way, I always thought that people who want the vaccine and can get the vaccine and feel safe, they should get it. I never said don't get the vaccine. I just said I understand the people who don't want to get it. But he moved my opinion a little bit, because he said, in order for the people that have a condition that will be adversely affected by the vaccine to have the privilege of not getting the vaccine, everybody else should get the vaccine so that they don't have to, because then we reach this herd immunity point of 70%, but now it might be 90 or 95%. So that those people can not get the vaccine, everybody else should get the vaccine. That's a good point. I you know, that makes sense. Okay. But when I believe that now when somebody tries to even start explaining, then you're like, oh no, you're an idiot, you don't know, you're you know, you're low IQ, whatever. Like, really? I mean, like, you know, like we have different opinions about everything, almost about everything in life. And so basically what I said, oh, I remember something else. What I think it is that the people who are in favor of the vaccines are scared of COVID, and the people who are against the vaccines for themselves are scared of the vaccine, or they mistrust the vaccine. And that's reasonable, you know? So anyways, I mean, I know that some people are going to look at this and maybe they, well, not maybe, I'm sure that some people will disagree, but if you would like to maybe talk about it, you know, like why, and, you know, the proof, you know, I mean, like, because I don't understand how in a matter of, well, less than 2 years, it's like we are two different races, right? Like the people who want the vaccines and the people who don't want to. And in some countries, it has become violent, you know, in Belgium, France, some places, you know, in the US. I'm like, I mean, we can, you know, talk about it, like, convince me. I said, instead of calling people anti-vaxxers, listen to what they want to say and try to persuade or seduce, not to force, to call people ignorant, stupid. I mean, what kind of, I don't get it. Take it easy.